Buffalo Bills, they are no longer with Stefon Diggs. So what did they do? They signed Curtis Samuel. They signed Mac Hollins. They drafted Keon Coleman in the second round, who's going to have to step in from day one and be a contributor here because, again, not much else. I guess you could say Dalton Kincaid is basically their wide receiver one at the tight end position. Over in free agency, like I said, Curtis Samuel, Mac Hollins. They bring in Cam Lewis. He's going to end up starting at corner for them. Reunited with Mitch Trubisky. So Mitch Trubisky is going to be the backup there for Josh Allen, of course, very well. Knows the system very well, been there, done that. Outside of Keon Coleman that they got in the second round, they had a second round pick in which they got safety Cole Bishop. He is going to start in the secondary for them there. And then in the third round, Dwayne Carter, who is a defensive tackle, likely to get some decent rotational minutes there for this Bills team as well. Mike, I think Josh Allen is a phenomenal talent. I think he has some of the most crazy athleticism we've seen at the quarterback position in quite some time. And yeah, I understand not really in the same breath a lot of times as, a Lamar Jackson or whatever, but Josh Allen is doing this at a guy that can bowl you over and hurt you. I mean, he is a massive human being who gets those extra yards, fights for those first downs, and of course, as we know, can throw it out the back of the stadium if need be. But you move away from Stefon Diggs, who may or may not have been a locker room problem, may or may not have been a sideline problem. Sure seemed like he was in all of those kind of final stretch of games. You and I pointed out at least a couple of different times when we were on the air for this, watching this Bills team go at it. And I guess the question really becomes on the offensive side of the ball is, can you get enough production out of Kincaid, out of Curtis Samuel, out of Mac Hollins, out of your rookie and Keon Coleman for this team to warrant being the favorite in this division?
To me, that's half of the question, right? Yes, the offensive side of the ball, you at least have Josh Allen. We've seen Patrick Mahomes do this with this level of wide receiver before. So the question is, can Josh Allen be able to move himself up and be able to do this with this level of wide receiver? I do like Keon Coleman quite a bit coming in, and Kincaid is going to be the number one. So you still have at least a couple of options there. I mean, Samuel, obviously, not someone that you're going to be overly scared of as a defense. Same with Max Hollins, not someone you're going to be overly scared of there. The defense, though, Matt, this defense isn't very good either. And the Bills, you were talking about their defense 2-3 years ago when they were an elite level team. They were able to hang the hat on their defense. That when they got it home, when they played in Buffalo, you weren't putting a lot of points on the board against them. This is going to be a work in progress. This is nothing like we've been used to the last 3 or 4 years for this Buffalo Bills team. We saw them fall off a little bit toward the end of last season. There's going to be a big time drop to me this year on the defensive side of the ball. And I am less concerned about the offense and what Josh Allen can do with a lack of weapons than I am about this defense and what they're going to be able to do against the Jets offense that is supposed to be good, a Dolphins offense we both think is explosive inside of the division. And again, they've got to play a tough schedule here as well. So for me, I've got questions on both sides of the ball, and they're actually bigger on the defensive side because you don't have a Josh Allen to lean on and be able to really just put the offense on his shoulders and move the football down the field.
Shakir coming back from injury. He might be able to contribute at the wide receiver position. They did sign MVS as well, who was one of the worst graded wide receivers in all the NFL. There were 128 that qualified, 119 was MVS. All you had to do was watch a little bit of him last year to see what he was all about. One thing they do get back, so Milano should be back from injury on the defensive side of the ball for them. Bernard should be back on the defensive side of the ball from them from injury. So getting both of those pieces back should help out a decent amount. Have a pretty good corner tandem as well for them. The safety leads the safety position. Strong safety and free safety actually leads a little bit to be desired, but a couple of decent dudes on the defensive line as well. It really comes down to if these corners are going to be able to go at this kind of one-on-one with all this. Like, you look at these safeties, two of the worst safeties. Poyer gets out of town for them, and now they got to go with Edwards and Rapp, and these are two guys that have struggled mightily over the last few seasons. If I look at this, Mike, it's like, I don't mind the linebacking core. I kind of like these starting corners. Defensive line with Russo should be able to get some pressure. But that safety position with as many multiple sets as we see right today, teams running out 3 wides and a tight end that basically is a wide receiver and all. I just don't know if there's enough coverage units there in this coverage unit for me to feel confident enough. So that's really my kind of hang up. I don't mind the linebackers, don't mind the starting corners. I just wonder what's going to happen when they got to go to nickel. What's going to happen when they got to go to dime?
Yeah. 3 and 4 wide receiver sets are going to be a problem for them because you're right. The starting quarterback's not bad, right? And we never project injuries, but I'm a little worried about the linebackers because there's no depth there behind them, and we have seen this linebacking core get hurt the last couple of years. So, but when they go to 3 wide, when other teams go to 3 wide, 4 wide, and you have this free safety, you have this strong safety having to guard anyone, when you got Elam coming in as your slot corner, that's when I'm starting to get worried about this defense. And again, yeah, you've got some pieces on the defensive line, but it's not what I'm worried about. It's going to be able to get pressure with 4 consistently. They're going to have to bring extra pressure. All of those pieces, and then on top of it, you've got a very, very little depth on the defensive side. They need to run pure to be a good defense this year. I'm not willing to bet on that.
Josh Allen is your second shot in the MVP market, plus 850 behind Patrick Mahomes, who is plus 450. And despite everything, this Bills team, 12-1 to win the Super Bowl.